Welcome back everyone in a brand new class, and in this class we are going to learn some basics of programming that we are using till now. But before we learn this theory that might be boring for you, I have included few classes before of real practicals, like we have used LEDs, we have used ultrasonic sensors, and now we are going to understand the programming. Basically we are using a mixture of C++ and Java in Arduino, so you should learn C and C++ to get the idea, but I am going to explain few essentials to you in this class. So let's press Ctrl N to open a new code in Arduino, and this right here is my empty Arduino window. Let me adjust few things. Fully, that's good, everything is clear to you. Now this is a setup and this is a loop. These are called functions. These are comments. These gray lines are basically comments. So if I remove this line, nothing will change. These are just here to give you idea what's written here, and programmers usually use comments to keep the track of when they open the code again later, after month, after a year. They should not forget what's there. So comments are there just as notes, like notes in PowerPoint and other softwares. So you can remove these comments. Alright, let's empty the code. These curly brackets are there to define these instructions are starting from here and ending here. Whenever you group something in C language, some commands, you should use these curly brackets. So if I remove this curly bracket here, the program will not understand the setup is starting here but where it's ending. Similarly, loop is starting here, loop is ending here. So if I try to upload this code, my Arduino is connected like before. So if I try to upload this code and programming, let's name this programming, and yes, now it's going to give me an error. There might be error at your end when you are applying codes before. What's the error here? It's saying something missing like a bracket. So what you should do, you should add a bracket here to give the program an idea that setup is starting from here and it's ending here. Now let's upload this code and it will work fine. It's an empty code, nothing will happen. Actually in Arduino it's just an empty code. Now what you can do, we can make some variables. Now variables are something where you can store some value. I have defined the variables in the previous class as well. Now to add variable, you can write int, you can write float, you can write character, and so on. Now this int means integer, and integer means a number. In mathematics, an integer is any number. It can be positive, it can be negative, but it's a whole number. So I can write integer, my variable 1. I can write float, my variable 2. I can write character, my variable 3. So variable 1 is integer, variable 2 is float, variable 3 is character. An integer can be any number. So we can store values taking from the sensors, taking from modules like a time, like a date, like distance, into an integer. So let's say I write in my loop, I write variable 1 equals to 33, and then I will print serial dot print ln variable 1. So if I upload this code, what is going to happen? It should print 33, but it will not. Let's see why. If I upload this code and open the serial monitor, let's place this serial monitor just like this here, and now as you can see, let's do something like this. Okay, so now as you can see, nothing is there on my serial monitor. Why? Because I didn't use serial.begin command. Serial begin should be used here, serial.begin 9600. So if I use serial begin, now communication starts between Arduino and your computer. So if I upload this code now, let's let it upload, and let's open the serial monitor. Yeah, now as you can see, it's printing 33 again and again and again. Now what else we can do? I can write variable 1 plus plus semicolon. Now this plus plus actually it actually does, it will keep incrementing the number. Plus plus is the syntax for increment. Let's upload this code and let's see. Open the serial monitor and let's see. Alright, so the value is 34. We have used the value 33. We have initialized the value 33, but it's printing 34. What actually happening? Whenever the loop starts, the variable 1 is stored as 33, and this variable plus plus increment the value to 34, then the value is printed, and when the loop again starts, it's again set the value of variable 1 to 33. So if we want the value to keep increasing again and again, we should take this command cut this command, and we can place this command into setup, because we want this command to run only once. If I upload my code, it won't upload because there is an error. If I upload my code, it's saying variable 1 is not declared in this scope. That means variable 1 is not defined, but we have defined the variable 1 as integer. But the problem is we have used the value first and then we have defined it. It should be defined above setup. So I am going to cut these commands by pressing Ctrl X. I am going to paste them above setup. Now it's all okay. I am going to upload the code, and let's see now what happened in the serial monitor. Now as you can see, the value of variable will keep incrementing until it limits, and its limits is something like in millions, 32 million, something like that. My variable 1 will keep incrementing whenever the loop runs, and as you can see how fast the loop runs. It's going to increment. Now it's 4000, so that means the loop ran for 4000 times till now. It's going to run for 5000 times, and so on. So this is how loop work, this is how the values work, this is how you can define variables. To stop this incrementing, I am going to upload this empty code now. Yes. Alright, so let's try something else. Let's see if I make the variable 1 33.5. What happened now? If I upload this code, I am not going to increment it now. Let's open the serial monitor. Now as you can see, now it's again 33. It's not 33.5, it's 33, because it's an integer. Integer cannot be in decimals. So to use the decimals, we should use variable 2, that was our float. We should declare float if we want to use the numbers in decimal. So if I use variable 2 instead of variable 1 and print the value of variable 2, let's upload this code, open the serial monitor, and let's print. Now as you can see, it's 33.50 because a float can be in decimal. If I use variable 3 is a character. Let's see what happens. If I use variable 3, let's see what happens. Okay, now as you can see, it's is showing a symbol, because variable 3 is a character, and character is in the form of character, it's not a number. So if we store a number in character, it is going to convert that number into any symbol. So let's see if I write something like 58 here. Variable 3 is 58. If you are getting confused, just rewind the class. You can watch it slowly. You can decrease the speed of class. There is a feature there. You can pause it. You can perform it along. You can search internet about the terminologies that I am using, and you will get the idea. It's very simple. It's very basics. I'm just describing the basics of C language to you. So let's upload this variable 3 is now 58, and let's see what happens if I open my serial monitor. And now as you can see, there are different symbol. If I upload something like, I guess 86 stands for character. Let's see if I open my serial monitor. Now as you can see, it's denoting V. V is a character for 86. If I upload 87, it should be the next alphabet after V. It's not W. The next character after the V is W. So if I use 87, it's W. If I use 88, just like this, it's now X. So this was the explanation for variables. If we use character, it will be alphabet, it will be a character. If we use float, it can be decimal. If we use integer, it will be a non-decimal number. Why do we use integer, float, character in different programs? Because these variables occupies the memory. So if we use float, it will use more bytes. It use 4 or I guess 8 bytes. If we use integer, you can Google the information. You don't have to. You can write on Google. And these parameters are different for different languages. So integer usually takes 2 bytes, and if it's more than 32,000, then I guess it's 4 bytes. And similarly, we have character that only occupies 1 byte. So if we use character, it's better because it will take less memory, but there are different properties of character. If we use float, we can store that variable in the form of decimal, but that comes for the cost of memory. We can also store the variable with bigger numbers. Integer can only store up to 32,000 something. If we use double, this one double, and then let's say variable 4. So double can store a huge amount of, like in millions, in billions. If you want to store the value in billions, then you can use double, and double takes up to like 8 bytes. So this is how variable works. And what else we have conditions. We can use conditions of if. So let's say variable 1 is 88, and I'm going to print. Now I'm going to print something else. I'm going to use conditions of if. So let's understand the conditions of if again. Right, if variable 1 is greater than 100. Is variable 1 greater than 100? No. So this condition will be false. It won't work. It won't run. Then you should write true. If condition is true, then you should write true, else clprintln false. If condition is true, write true. If condition is false, write false. So let's see if condition is true or not, and let's delete the excess gap. Okay, now as you can see, if variable 1 is greater than 100, write true, else write false. So this is how the condition of if works. And if I upload this code, let's see what happens. It's writing false because condition is not true. Our variable is 88 and I have defined the condition it should be greater than 100. So let's see if I write condition should be greater than 50. Now it's true, so it will write true here. In my CL monitor, now it's showing true. So if condition is true, the statement after that if will work. If condition is false, that statement won't work. So if I remove this line, just like this, I have commented this line. So if you comment something, it won't work. So let's say I write something like again 100. If variable 1 is greater than 100, you should write 2, otherwise don't do anything. So usually we do that because if we want the condition true, so do something. If the condition is false, don't do anything. So let's upload this code and let's see what happens now. Nothing will happen, nothing is there. And let's see, I change the condition to less than 100. If it's less than 100, then you should write true, and let's see if it works or not. Yes, now it's printing true. So this is how the condition of if work. So let me remind what we have done in this class. We have understood what are variables. We have got the idea of again what is while loop, how we use bracket, and we are looking at the conditions, how we use if. Let's do something else. If I use two variable, variable 2 is equal to 50. Variable 1 is 88, variable 2 is 50. Let's see what happens. Is the condition true? Yes, it's true. Variable 1 is 88 and it should be less than 100. This is the symbol for less than, so it's true. But let's see, we write and variable 2 should be greater than 100. Variable 1 should be less than 100 and variable 2 should be greater than 100. And this and symbol defines that both of these conditions should be true to make it happen. Upload this code in my CL monitor. So let's take our CL monitor and nothing is there because condition is not true. Condition is false. One part of the condition is true, but second one is false. And if we use and both should be true in order to execute the statement. So this is how. So these are called logical operators, and we are using logical operators in C language, and this is the real demonstration of logical operators. I am not using anything in hardware, I am just using everything in software. I am just explaining you program. So let's see if I write something like this. This is called or. That the previous one was and now this is or. Or means if any of these conditions is true, a statement should work. Let's upload this code now and let's see what happens. I don't know why my serial monitor goes into another screen but again and again. Now the condition is true. How? Only one part of that condition is true, it's working. If I make both of these parts false, let's say I write this one should be greater than 100 as well. Let's remove this distance so you should have the better idea. Now as you can see, variable 1 is 88, variable 2 is 50, and I am writing variable 1 should be greater than 100, variable 2 should be greater than 100. Both are false. If I upload this code, now the condition won't work because both are false. Let's open the serial monitor now, and as you can see, nothing is here. Why? Condition is false. So these are called logical operators, and if you want to use two conditions like this one should be true and that one should be true in order to execute the statement, then we use logical operators. And again, it's 2022 when I'm recording this video, so it's really easy to go internet and search about that. My job is to give you a path. You can learn it yourself. I guess there are tons of tutorials about C and C++ on internet. So, and the better you at C and C++ and programming, the better you can use Arduino. So that's it for logical operators. Let's spice things a little bit more up, and I'm going to use different conditions now. I'm going to use one if. If variable 1 is true, it should write something like condition 1. Alright, then I'm going to use if variable 2 is greater than 100, then it should write condition 2. Alright, so I'm going to use two conditions of if now. And my variable 1 is 88, my variable 2 is 50, so both are wrong. So let's take variable 2 to 150. So condition 2 should be true. So this time our serial monitor will say condition 2 is true. Yes, now it's saying condition 2. If I make it, this one is 188 as well. So now both conditions will be true. So it is going to donate condition 1 and condition 2, both are true. So this, how the program is going to work? It will work something like this. Now as you can see, condition 1 2 1 2 1 2 both are true. In our Arduino, both conditions are true. And similarly, we can integrate with this hardware. So if I write something like pin mode 10 output, my LED is connected with pin number 10 actually from the previous class. So, and I am going to write something like here digital write 10 high. Alright, and in the variable 2 I am going to say digital write 10 low. Currently both conditions are true, so it is going to work on off on off on off. So let's make one condition true only. Let's make condition 1 true. So variable 1 should be 188, variable 2 should be 50, so only condition 1 will be true. If I upload my code, my LED should glow now. Now as you can see, LED is glowing. There LED is glowing in your screen. So I have integrated the hardware with the if conditions now again. And yes, one more important thing. I am going to break the class. It's now 20 minutes plus. So I am going to explain loops. Loops are very important. So let's understand the loops. But before that, one small thing here. There is a symbol called not. This symbol not. This not symbol denotes this condition should not be true. This is going to inverse the whole process. So how it's work? If I upload this code now, LED won't work. This not symbol means variable 1 should not be greater than 100. So this is called a not symbol. You can use that whenever you want to. And let's wind this class up. Hopefully you got the idea of if conditions, of variables and parentheses and few other stuff and logical operators. So I will see you in the next class.